I'll be honest, I stopped playing my 3DS around 2018, and it sort of sat dormant on my shelf for a few years. Then, Nintendo went and decided to close the eShop, and I was like, that's not great at all. So I decided to hop on my 3DS and purchase a few games before they went out. You know, I could no longer purchase them because you wouldn't find any of them in the store. And then, come to mind, a few months later, I started seeing all these videos talking about how easy it's to hack the 3DS now. And I did my Googling, I did my researching, followed some guides, and then I hacked my 3DS. And I haven't played my DS this much since I originally got it back in 2013. I am in love with my 3DS again, and I'm so happy that Nintendo closed the eShop. Regardless, there's a lot of, gaming historians out there who will throw a fit about it, but the moment Nintendo closed that eShop was kind of like the death nail in the 3DS, and how they won't be patching it anymore, they won't be fixing it. Basically broke the floodgates wide open for just a cavalcade of numerous amounts of different ways to hack your 3DS, and it just kept getting easier and easier and easier, to the point where I've seen videos claiming that you no longer even need to connect your SD card to a fucking computer. Just like the Vita, you just need to open the web browser and then go to a site, and then it'll start hacking your device for you. And I'm so happy because I love the idea of hacking Nintendo systems, because there's nothing like playing, illegally downloaded games off the internet on official hardware. I was pretty negative on the Vita in my review, and I didn't really go into it that much. It was just, though it was a terrible experience hacking it, because I hacked mine many years ago when it was not that easy, and just the quality of the emulated games you can and will do on there just not being that great. When you do get it to work, it did feel great playing on official hardware, and that feels even better because I was emulating mostly Nintendo systems on the Vita. Doing that on a 3DS feels so right, and it makes me want to play the games even more. And I've never played, like I said, my 3DS so much. Some of you might be asking yourself, how did I do this? What method did I use? I followed some guides. I leave them down in the description below. The main one you might want to look at, and the one that I was the most interested in, just like I was on the Vita, was the H Store. The Vita has its own, it's not the same thing, but it's fundamentally the same idea and concept. Because the eShop is no more, we'll bring back the eShop better than ever, with every single game being free and easily downloadable. And when I discovered the H Store, I was so fucking happy. It was so easy to install. I just dragged the CIA into the folder, and it just let it rip. I just opened FBI to download CIA, and it just went. And now I have access to an eShop that I can download any game I could ever want from the 3DS onto my 3DS. I have copious amounts of games. And not only do they have games, they have they have ports, they have ROM hacks, they have remakes, and it's fantastic. I've been playing so much Sunrise Shores, the new Super Mario Bros. 2 ROM hack. It is so good. It's hard as balls, but it's like that fun I used to have playing Mario on my 3DS and on my DS. Just having that feeling again, it feels so good. The feeling of a new, good 2D Mario game is amazing, and it makes me really excited for Super Mario Bros. Wonder. And this is just amazing, and I think everybody should consider doing this. And the biggest problem with the Vita and other devices like the Vita is that they're so expensive. A Vita is damn near $400, but there's so many different varieties of 3DS that you could find one to fit your budget, and you'll be able to play basically 90% of all 3DS games. There are a few new Nintendo 3DS exclusive games. I don't remember any of them. I know there's like a Fire Emblem game, but in my opinion, who gives a fuck? I know there's a lot of Fire Emblem fans, but it's not that good. I don't care. It was like no, it's not Three Houses, that's on the Switch. It was some fucking game like that. I don't care. I mostly played, when it comes to JRPGs on my 3DS, I played Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. That's a great game, but not the same kind. I don't like turn-based checkerboard, strategy games. It's boring to me. But being able to download Pokemon whenever I want, or just download all of them, is fantastic. I wish the H-Store had DS games, normal, original DS games. Kind of understand why it doesn't. It'd be super illegal. Not saying that this isn't already super illegal, but it's just nice being able to use Twilight Menu. And personally, I don't use directly Twilight Menu. I use a Nintendo DS forwarder, so I can just forward all my DS games onto my home screen so I have easier access to them, because I hate going into actual Twilight Menu. And just being able to boot up, you know, New Super Mario Bros. On my 3DS. Not my 3DS. Yeah, on my 3DS from my DS. Or having games like fucking Pokemon Black and White and Black and White 2. My most favorite Pokemon games of all time. I have over 300 hours in Pokemon White 2. And being able to play my original save that I backed up on my 3DS and being able to reopen those games in Pokemon Bank and transfer them to my Switch is truly insane. That this is so illegal and it's so not a problem, because Nintendo will probably never go back to fix it unless enough people make noise about it, and I'm only contributing to the more likelihood of Nintendo noticing this and finding a way to fucking nuke it. But here's crossing my fingers that does not necessarily becomes a problem for any of us, because I want you guys to be able to do it for yourselves, because holy cow, is this such an amazing time for the 3DS. Like, being able to play Game Boy Advance games on it is really fun. Super Nintendo runs great. A lot of these games, though, I don't think you need necessarily to get an emulator, because like a bunch of all of the best Super Nintendo games, a bunch of the best Game Boy Advance games were already on the eShop, though the Game Boy Advance ones were through the Ambassador program, and you can get the Ambassador program games off the internet specifically, because those will be in like CIA formats. Just link in the description to find the guides that I used. So those are the exceptions, but like in most cases you'll be able to find most Super Nintendo games, Game Boy games, all the Virtual Console games on the H-Store. So that was a lot of games, and I didn't feel the need to have to put SNES 9X, which I do have it on my 3DS. But like, I didn't feel like I needed to use it because the games ran basically the same, and you know, the nicety of using like the Virtual Console ones, it had a much better save state system. I did see a PlayStation emulator. I saw videos on it. It runs terribly. Don't do it. It barely runs. It barely can do N64 games. But any of the good N64 games got ported to the 3DS. So you could just find that also on the H-Store. So for actual emulation, like actual with separate software, it's not particularly great. But like with actual retro games that you can download off the H-Store, it's fantastic. Because, you know, you got all the mainline games you need. You got all the Kirby's, the Mario's, the Donkey Kong Countries. You got everything you could possibly probably play from most first-party Nintendo games and some second-party Nintendo games. And it's just being able to take all those games on the go, because it's a 3DS, is fantastic. A little aside, some of you might be asking, Jacob, what the fuck is on your 3DS? This past Christmas, I received from my brother 3DS grips. And I was like, this is fucking insane. And it turned my very uncomfortable new Nintendo 2DS XL into something very comfortable. That was perfect timing, because that's right around the time when I first heard about Nintendo closing the eShop, and you know, started looking at my 3DS again, and it made it a much more enjoyable experience. I highly recommend these. I'll leave that also in the description below, because these things are fantastic. They're like $15. It came with a screen protector and a spare stylus and everything. It's fantastic. It came with a little clear top case that I painted black, and it's amazing. And I'm so happy with them. And it's just stupid. The one problem is it's not like a very snug fit. It's very, you know, loosey-goosey. But I just, you know, put a little bit of blue tack, you know, so nothing destructive on my 3DS, but like, you know, something sticky, something to grip the 3DS can grab onto while it's in the thing. Because I think mine just had, you know, bad tolerances, you know, from the factory. But I was too lazy to get a return to get like a non-fucked one. But like, I'm sure you guys had a much better experience because the thing had like 5 stars and about like a couple thousand reviews. Thanks to all these hacking, you can even have YouTube back on the device. And I highly recommend you get a 3DS in 2023. It is better than ever, more accessible than ever, and you can pick and choose the perfect 3DS for your budget. If you really want a 3DS but you don't got a lot of money, get a first model. You can find those for around or less than $100. You want a bigger one, but you don't really care about the new Nintendo 3DS features, go for a 3DS XL. You can find those for like $120 to $100. If you want like a 2DS XL, just a base model, not one of the crazy limited edition console variants that they made they have hundreds of those things. You can find those for like $150, $200. Or if you want like a new Nintendo 3DS XL, I see those typically for like $250, $300. I don't know why those are so expensive, but everything else seems far more reasonable, especially if you're comparing it to Vitas. Those things are fucking outrageous, and people who are selling those are fucking out to lunch. So what are your thoughts on the 3DS in 2023? Are you gonna get one? What are you gonna do with it? Do you have any reasons not to want a 3DS today? Leave it down below, I would love to hear. Don't forget to like and subscribe, all that other social media garbage down below, and have a wonderful day.